President of the Association, Pankaj Bhai Parekh. Today's faculty, Mr. Advocate Ratan Shamal, other office dignitaries, and my dear friends, a very good afternoon to all of you, and I welcome all of you on this mega study circle on the builders and developers. Friends, initially when we have decided this meeting, at that time we had a thought in mind that we will keep the assessment on builders and developers at the beginning, since it was a very crucial point for the assessment. When the date has come was nearer, we have received a notification from the department which says that determination of the value of the contract in respect of builders and developers, and therefore it becomes very necessary to understand the implication of the same, and therefore we have converted this normal study circle meeting into a mega study circle meeting. And today we have with us the two eminent faculties, Advocate Ratan Shamal and Advocate Patkar sir. He will also contribute to the thing, and the 3 hours meeting has been kept. Initially 2 hours would be allotted to Mr. Ratan Shamal, and half an hour for the expert view of the Mr. Patkar, and half an hour for the open house query would be there. So I request all the members to keep their query at the end so that we can get the more knowledge from the members. Now I request Pankaj Bhai to say a few words about that.
Respected learned speaker of 7th Study Circle, Advocate Ratan Shamal, office bearer on the dais, my colleague in the managing committee, seniors in the profession, and dear members. Very warm good afternoon to everybody. We have started receiving notices for the assessment of builders and developers. Last year, most of the builders and developers had filed returns along with the audit report as per the provisions existed at that time. After pronouncement of Supreme Court order in case of builders and developers, recently only the state government has made amendment in the Rule 58(1)(1)(a) of amended Rule 2002 as per the direction of the Honorable Supreme Court. Recently, on 29th January 2014, we have received one more judgment from the Honorable Supreme Court in case of builders and developers. To understand the amendment in Rule 58(1) and 1A and the latest judgment, we have kept this mega study circle for the benefit of the members. To be frank with you, these topics require half day or full day seminar, but the time given for filing audit report for the builders and developers who are not following composition is 15th February 2014. In between, we are at Jaipur for RRC, so we decided to keep this mega study circle for 3 hours instead of 1 hour, and there will be a question answer session also. Secondly, today we have met our Honorable Commissioner for extension for timing for filing 704 for the builders and developer, because we have to file revised return also, and he agreed in principle that we will extend the time and they will issue the circular also. We are also planning to have short publication on assessment of builders and developers, but it will be available on our website in e-book format. The members will be able to download from the website. Meantime, let us hear from two learned speakers on the given subject. Thank you.
Now, if I would be failing in my duty if I do not introduce the today's faculty before all of you. I think they doesn't require an introduction because they are very well known among all of us. But then also for the newcomers, I will just briefly introduce both the speakers. As far as Mr. Ratan Shamal is concerned, he is a law graduate from the Bombay University and is practicing as an advocate from 1993. He was an ex-professor in the Newn Law College and KC College of Management, Mumbai. He was an honorary lecturer to teach the inspectors and the class 1 officers of the sales tax department in Mumbai from the period 1998 to 2002, and during this tenure he has received the best lecturer honor for all the tenures. Even here in the recent past, he is as a legal aider, and he had fought the case before the Honorable High Court against the IIT for admission of a disabled candidate for higher education, which is widely published in the various newspapers. and he is also taking various lectures in our association and also at the WRC level. So I request all the members to welcome Mr. Ratan Shamal with a loud applause. And I request the President to felicitate him with a flower of bouquet and a memento as a mark of our love and respect. Now I request Mr. Ratan Shamal.
President Pankaj Bhai Parekh, other my office bearer friends on the dais, all other senior members and my other friends, a very good afternoon to all of you. It is my pleasure to be here, and when Asit Bhai has phoned me, then I will share that moment that I thought that it is a very good occasion. In fact, that notification was not there at the time. So I felt that yes, it is the right time, because we have to face swords, not the official swords nowadays. Yeah. So it is better to prepare to defend that sword. So without taking much time, let us come to the topic, friends. Now simply starting assessment and going for the quantifications, I don't think so that we will digest the subject, which is drafted very carefully by the bureaucrats which has been intimated to the secondary legislation, and secondary legislation authorities, they have drafted very carefully. And no doubt there are a lot of lacunae are there. Now those lacunae I want to share with you more particularly, which will help in the assessment appellate proceedings. Not only that, I have also planned along with Patkar Saab that directly we will jump to the writ authority, High Court or Supreme Court, challenging the virus also. We have planned. Let us see. Now let us go to the subject. Now you are practicing in these subjects, and you are aware that in order to recover that amount of tax, there are three aspects are there. One, a charging provision. Second, measuring provision, how to measure that charge which is created. And then the incidence, how the incident will arise. These are the three important aspects which you will come across while quantifying the liability of a developer or builder. Now, all of us know that Section 6 is the charging provision. We should not forget that is most important provision before we sit in the table to quantify a builder's liability. It is a very simple. One of my friend, just when I came, I met, इसमें 3 घंटा बताने का क्या रह गया है अभी, कुछ रहा ही नहीं. As Pankaj Bhai has rightly pointed out, half-day seminar is also not sufficient. My friend, charging provision section 6 very clearly says that a tax shall be levied on the turnover of sales as per the schedule entries. Even the builder and developer is also falling in the ambit of that charging provision. Now, turnover of sales. Turnover of sales means the aggregate of sales price is a turnover of sales. The aggregate of sales price means the amount received or receivable from the buyer. Amount received or receivable from the buyer is the sales price, and if you sum up the sales price, then it will come the total turnover of sales. Now, for that purpose, in order to arrive that sales price, we should know what is sales, because sales price will be received out of sale of goods. Now, sale of goods. Sale of goods means here, as you understand, sale within the state of Maharashtra for cash or deferred payment, please keep in mind, or other available consideration. These are the important terminologies, are most important for the purpose of quantifying the liability of a builder or developer. Now, a sale of goods for cash or for either deferred payment, every word is having its own significance. It has a decisive factor in calculating the liability. So cash or deferred payment or other available considerations, whatever it may be. Now they have enlarged the definitions, which is subject matter of challenge interpreted by Honorable Bombay High Court and Supreme Court. But for the purpose of quantification, what is the relevance, I will touch that aspects. Otherwise, legality, virus, all these things have answered by Honorable High Court and Supreme Court. In section 2, subsection 24, the definition of sale, they have added the inclusive portions, that is the indirect sales like works contract. Now, transfer of property in goods, either in the same form or otherwise. Thereafter, they have, in the explanation, they have added the term an agreement for construction, building, for cash and deferred payment. Again, please keep in mind, they have repeated this term, which is most important factor. Agreement for construction of, agreement for building, construction or other so on of immovable properties for cash or deferred payment. So, if you read combinedly all these three aspects, charging provision with the turnover of sale, sale price and sale, you will find three important connotations. One, there is a transfer of property in goods, number one aspect. Second, it must be for cash or deferred payment. And third, when we talk about the builder and developer, then agreement to construct a building or to construct a flat, this is most important, agreement. Friends, what do you mean by agreement? Because in the secondary legislation, in the rule, they are mentioning contract, whereas the term says agreement in the main definition, in the definition of sales. You will find the term agreement is used, whereas you will find in the secondary legislation, that is in the Rule 58, contract, the term is used. So agreement is to be understood in the manner which the Bombay High Court has dealt with it. The term agreement, Honorable Bombay High Court in the judgment of MCHI had very clearly and categorically stated that agreement means herein is nothing but, it is not a simple agreement, it is an agreement which is in the nature of a contract. Agreement which is in the nature of contract. Agreement, Honorable Bombay High Court has recognized that agreement if is entered by a builder or developer with the flat buyer, which is entered as per the provisions of some other legislation like MOFA. In the MOFA, you will find a agreement when is entered, the agreement is to be entered in a specified form. For that purpose, specific provisions are prescribed under section 4, 5, 6, etc. of the MOFA Act. So, the agreement which is used in section 2, subsection 24 means the agreement which is in the nature of agreement which is specified under the MOFA Act, that is in the form 5, which contains the rights, liabilities, obligations of both the parties. So such sort of agreement is recognized as an agreement. Therefore, Honorable Bombay High Court, while interpreting this particular term, they have categorically stated that agreement means agreement which is recognized under a MOFA, because it is not a mere simple agreement, it is in the nature of a contract. They have referred some other judgments of Honorable Bombay High Court Division Bench as well as the Supreme Court, like Brindavan Society and everything I have mentioned in my notes, all these judgments. no need to refer. Because we have to focus, we have to concentrate on the quantification part. So agreement is not a mere agreement, it is in the nature of the contract which is entered under the MOFA Act. So therefore, the contract term or agreement term used in the legislation, either primary legislation in the secondary legislation, is having the same meaning as interpreted by Honorable Bombay High Court and it is approved by Honorable Supreme Court. Why I am touching this aspect? What is the relevance for the purpose of our computation? That plays a role. Here, if you have received an advance, say for example 70% advance received, a letter of allotment is issued to you. Agreement is not at all entered. Whether that particular turnover can be taken into account for the purpose of imposition of tax or not, that is most important. That's why I am touching this part, agreement. Because the language used in section 2 subsection 24 is the agreement. So it has a very vital impact in your computation. So therefore, if the authority wants to levy tax, first they have to go whether the agreement is entered or not. It is not the criteria that advance received, letter of allotment is given. All these aspects has no role, because a specific expressly the language used is agreement to construct a building, agreement to construct a flat. Then unless you enter an agreement, then there is no relationship of a buyer and a seller has started. Therefore, the agreement is most important aspect so far as our calculation is concerned. Some of the friends, they have raised various queries, either to the authorities or to our various advocates, including me, pointing at this. If I received advance of 70%, whether of that 70% will be included or not. It is not the case that 70%, even if you have received advance, that will be deemed to be treated as an advance. Maybe for the purpose of other laws, maybe, I don't know, maybe for the purpose of income tax, maybe for the purpose of service tax, maybe for the purpose of other laws, it has an impact. But when you talk about the calculation of sales tax, then the agreement is having a vital role, and agreement as interpreted by Honorable Bombay High Court, approved in the L&T's judgment by Supreme Court, agreement means the agreement entered under the MOFA. Therefore, when we calculate, quantify the liability, first we have to ensure whether an express agreement is entered or not. Then only we will have to work out advance, letter of allotment, other modes of letters given has no role. This important term has a greater significance. Number one, agreement. Now second term is cash or deferred payment. Now everybody knows that the consideration right from the beginning, from Gannon and Carley's first judgment, we know that all the essential ingredients are needed. But while interpreting the charging provisions qua a builder developer, in the recent past, Honorable High Court has said that Gannon Dunkerley is a no more valid law qua a builder developer. When we brought an amendment in the Constitution under Article 366 Clause 29A, we have to focus on Article 366 Clause 29A. Pre-Constitution amendment, a post-constitutional amendment doesn't make any difference so far as the term used, which cash, deferred payment or variable considerations. Because we are concerned with cash, deferred payment or variable considerations. Now cash here means the sales price received or receivable by the developer from the flat buyer. One of the beautiful example that Dharampur Sugar Mills matter, if you remember, most of our friends knows it. Dharampur Sugar Mills matter, it was came for interpretation that in exchange of a particular product, an amount of consideration is fixed. But instead of making the payment of that amount of consideration by the buyer, molasses created by the sugar factory, molasses has supplied. The question came up before Honorable Supreme Court that since no sales price is involved, sales price is one of the most important aspects. Price is most important aspects in the definition of sale. And since here the transaction of price is not involved, then in such circumstances, whether it can be treated as a sales transaction or not. Honorable Supreme Court has stated that, see, the term used is other valuable consideration. So a quantum is first fixed, thereafter molasses is supplied, therefore it will fit into the definition of valuable consideration, and it is a transaction of sale subject matter of levy. Here what is the importance when we talk about this? Here cash, either deferred payment or the other valuable consideration, the terms used. If we transfer the property without having all these three essential elements, that is cash, deferred payment or other valuable consideration, whether it can be termed as a sales. For example, a cooperative society entered an agreement with the developer to demolish that building, 4-floor building for example, and to reconstruct a 12-floor buildings. Against this 4-floor building, it is agreed that a 5-floor will be given to them against this demolition of their cooperative society, and the rest of the area they are going to sell. Here the question arises whether, while computing our liability qua the developer, whether this 5-floor which was given in exchange of this 4-floor which was demolished amounts to cash, deferred payment or valuable consideration, subject matter of levy. This is the most crucial question while computing the liabilities. To my mind, answer is certainly negative, that is no. It is fitted into the definition of exchange under the Transfer of Property Act. It could be termed as an exchange. It is not falling within the ambit of the definition of sale. Therefore, the area which is given against that area will be certainly termed as exchange, not the sale. It cannot be termed as sales. Such sort of issues came up before Honorable Karnataka High Court after K.L. Raheja's judgment. Supreme Court K.L. Raheja's judgment in 2005. In 2010, before Honorable Karnataka High Court, a matter came up for adjudication that in such situation, exchange of area against the exchange of area against certain other areas, whether it can be termed as a sale of goods will fit in the definition of the sale under the local sales tax law. Honorable Karnataka High Court has the opinion that no, though we have not gone through their observation, though we have not gone through the entire detail and documents, but such sort of transactions will fall within the ambit of exchange and outside the purview of the levy. But at the same time, the local adjudicating authority had to examine whether the agreement is entered for exchange of area to area or certain consideration is involved. For that purpose it was remanded, but the principle laid down was that exchange of area against area cannot be brought into tax under the sales tax net. Honorable High Court has relied upon the judgment of 66 ITR, that is, I have already mentioned here in my write-up. Relying upon that barter system, goods against goods or property against property cannot be brought under the tax net. So therefore, even if the amendment came into picture now under Rule 15, it has no impact so far as these aspects are concerned. Wherever redevelopment is there, wherever the societies are developed, slum rehabilitations, under the slum rehabilitation program also, area against area is granted, though there is an involvement of goods is there. Merely involvement of goods is there, therefore it will be termed as a sale. That is a wrong concept. Along with the involvement of goods, there must be a consideration, either cash or deferred payment or other valuable.